Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So today we are going to have an example of modeling using Midas software, no? So we are going to model and design a steel structure building using Midas. We're also going to have a step-by-step tutorial on how to use Midas, uh, particularly in a steel building. So our intended learning outcomes for this lesson is to, at the end of the session, the student should be able to, number one, perform geometric modeling of a structure using Midas software. Number two, apply the loads on the geometric model in Midas. So we are going to apply dead load, live load, earthquake load, wind load, as well as we are going to use response spectrum analysis. And of course, we are going to use Midas software in order to design the steel structure. So before we go to the sample tutorial modeling, let me first explain the steps for computer-aided analysis. So the steps for computer-aided analysis could be easily divided into 3 steps. So the first step is what we call the pre-processing. The second step is the analysis. And the third step is what we call the post-process. For the pre-processing, basically, this is what we are doing in the Midas model. The first thing is we have to draw the geometric layout of our building. After drawing the geometry of the building, we have to assign the material and of course the section property. After assigning the material and section property, we have to assign the supports. That's number 3. After assigning the supports, we can now apply our loads. Later on, you will notice that we are going to follow these steps in creating our model. So after we create the model, we can now analyze the structure, and that is what we call the finite element method. In the finite element method, the computer will be the one to calculate the displacement, the forces, and then for the post-processing, this is the time when the computer actually translate the numerical values into graphical results. So kaya po nakikita natin yung mga bending moments, mga deformation, as well as stresses in a graphical solution. Kasi nga, because of the post-processing. So for this Midas tutorial, actually I use a reinforced concrete building. However, I already translated it into a steel structure. So I've gone a few trials in order to make the building from reinforced concrete into a steel structure. But later on, what we're going to model is a steel structure. So before we go into the modeling, let me explain the graphic user interface of Midas. So at the top part, that is actually the menu bar. The menu bar, basically, these are all the tabs that the Midas can do. We have the structure view, the node and element, the properties, the boundary, load analysis, the result, pushover design, pushover design. So in the pre-processing, you are going to, what we are going to use is coming from the structure up to the analysis, up to the loads, no? Sa pag-apply ng loads. And then we go to analysis, and then these are the post-process. Yung design, no? Post-processing na po yung design. So we also have the toolbar. Yung toolbar po basically is an easy access to identify or select yung mga elements natin. Andito po yung view, andito rin yung nandito rin yung select all, andito rin yung display. So, this is an easy access toolbar. Ito pong toolbar natin. Works tree. Works tree is an important part of Midas, no, when you are creating the Midas model, because the works tree shows what you've done already. Yung works tree po na to, ito po yung parang step by step ng lahat ng natapos mo. Basically, it will show you if you already define your nodes, your elements, how many materials have you defined, and then how many section have you assigned, and then what are the supports the loads that you apply. So basically, the workstree will show what you've finished in your modeling, kung ano na yung natapos mo, no? So andito po siya sa workstree. It's a good uh it's a good tab para makita natin ano na ba yung natapos ko dun sa modeling, no? The message window actually shows you if there are any errors. It's also important uh, to see this from time to time ba kasi mamaya nagkakaroon ka ng duplicate element, nagwa-warning po siya dito, no? Sa message window. We have the status bar para makita natin kung yung unit ng ating model. We also have the navigation toolbar. The navigation toolbar naman is an easy access to rotate, to go to the front view, the side view, the top view of your model, no? That is the navigation toolbar. So let's now move on to the actual modeling. So again, as I mentioned, this sample modeling is actually coming from a reinforced concrete building. What I did is I transformed the reinforced concrete building into a steel structure. Then I design it using a steel structure, no? So yun po yung gagawin natin. I-design natin siya as a steel structure. But still, I'm going to use that for G1. This is one element. This is G1. This is also G1. We also have G2. This is another element. G3 is another element. So I'm going to use different element for G1 or different sizes ng steel for G1, G2, and G3. I'm also going to use different size for B1 and C1 and C2. So basically, I have five properties that I will design, no? 5 or 6 properties pala, 6 properties. So this is the section view of the building. The height of our building that we are going to design will be 3.6 meters from top to bottom. So basically, this is a 5-story school building with roof deck. 5-story school building with roof deck. So again, what we're going to use is a steel structure. So don't worry about this. What we are going to use for the material will be A992 steel. Ang gagamitin natin A992. Bakit A992? Kasi that is the common strength for a wide flange steel. Dahil po wide flange naman commonly or W shape naman yung mga gagamitin natin. So what I'm going to use is A992 for the material. For the dead loads, we are going to follow this dead load. We have the slab weight. We are still going to use reinforced concrete slab. So meron tayong reinforced concrete slab with a weight of 3 kilopascal, toppings, ceilings, partition load, and wall load. We also have the load for the roof deck. That's 3 kilopascal, topping, ceiling, and we also have the classroom live load, corridor, and roof deck. We're also going to use this wind load. Ito po yung wind load natin, 187.5, and the seismic dead load. Or the seismic load. The seismic load, it is SC, soil profile type. Seismic zone factor is 4. Seismic source type is A, 10 kilometer from the seismic source distance. Importance factor is 1. And what we are going to use is SMRF for steel, special moment resisting frame for steel, which is the R is 8.0. We are also going to use a brace frame. So gagamit din po tayo ng brace frame along y-axis. So sa brace frame, it will be R is equal to 6. Take note, sa brace frame po, R is equal to 6. So these are the materials that we are going to use, just a summary. Ito po yung mga initial sizes na gagamitin natin for the whole building. So these are just my assumption. So later on, we'll see if the design will be okay. So currently, gagamit lang po ako ng W18, W12 for the beams, and W10 para sa B1. For the bracing, gagamit ako ng W10. So W10 is around 200, around 250, 250 to 250 millimeter na width or na height, no? That's W10. W12 is around 300. W18 is, yeah. So So these are the initial properties pa lang po ito. So let's go to our floor plan. Again, this is the floor plan that we are going to use. So now let's move on to Midas. So let's open our Midas and create a new project. So create a new project. Just create our new project. I'm using Midas Gen 2021. So if you are using a later version or latest version, that's fine. It's almost similar. No? Parehas lang naman yan. So first thing to do, we go to tools and then we check for the preferences. Make sure that for the preferences on your design, click mo yung design and load code. Make sure that the steel design code will be LRFD16. The concrete design code is NCP 2015. Although we don't have any concrete, the rebar is PNS. Bakit po PNS? That is Philippine National Standard. We could also go to the load code. Sa load code po, ang wind load that we are going to use will be ASCE 7-10. For the response spectrum, that is UBC 1997. Bakit siya UBC? UBC po yung para sa response spectrum ng Pilipinas. So UBC 1997 is applicable to the Philippines. So make sure that this response spectrum is UBC 1997, ASCE 7, and you have the design still LRFD. So click OK. Once okay na po yung sa preferences natin sa tools, we go to the properties. We are going to assign the property of our sections. So if you click the property, it will show you the material, section, and thickness. So first, we define our material. Again, what we are going to use is a steel structure. So ang type of design po natin, steel. And basically, I'm using ASTM standard. So DB, ibig sabihin, standard po siya. So pipili lang ako ng standard dito. So you've already know the type of steel. Dito, mayroon po tayong A36, meron tayong A500, A572, grade 50, grade 60. But what we are going to use is the common for wide flange, which is A992. Ito, nasa baba. A992, click OK. So since standard po yan, basically our FY is 345. No? A992 steel, click apply, and then we have the steel material. And then click OK. So basically, okay na po ito. I've already added my material. I will now go to my section. No? Mag-add po ako ng section. Basically, just click add. And then since steel po tayo, we go to I section. For the I section, we go to our material. So magde-define ako ng G1, first C1, no? Column 1. Punta tayo dito. So column 1, column 2. So I will define I section, which is column name that is, lagay po natin yung pangalan, C1. So C1, and then again, if you click DB, ibig sabihin po nung DB, that is standard. If you click on this one, yung uni, basically pipili ka dito ng standard mo. And our standard that we are going to use is AISC 10. Ito, US. Para po yung lalabas dito, US standard. Ito US standard, which are also common in the Philippines. So, you just find the standard section that we are going to define. Ang standard po natin sa wide flange is, based on our assumption, W18 by 76. So that is W18 by 76. I'm just going to pick it here, W18 by 76. Basically, yung mga properties, automatic na po yung naglagay dyan. No? So, you don't have to change anything here because standard naman po yan. The offset is center to center. Bakit po siya center to center? Kasi column. Kapag column, yung line element natin nasa gitna dapat ng column. So center to center yan. That is correct. So click apply. Kapag kinlik natin yung apply, hindi pa magko-close yung section data. Sa pag kinlik mo okay, magko-close na to. If you are going to add another element, mas okay na mag-apply ka muna. Kasi hindi mo pa naman siya i-close, no? So click apply. So nadagdag na po yun doon. So nakita nyo, nandun na yung C1. And then we are going to apply C2 again. And then choose another section based on our assumption. That is W18 by 71. So W18 by 71. And then click apply. That is center to center. Click apply. And then we also have G1. G1. For the first girder, that is W12 by 50. So that is W12 by 50. So W12, just choosing the standard section, W12 by 50. And then G1, click apply. And then I'll click G2. For G2, it's now W12 by 40. So W12 by 40. So click apply. And then I'll have G3, W12 by 53. G3, that's W12 by 53. And then click apply. And then I'll also have B1, W10 by 30. That's B1, W12 by 30. B1 is W12, W10 by 30. So W10. That's W10 by 30. And then click apply. And then I'll also have the brace. So I'm just going to name it as brace. So for the bracing, that will be W10 by 33. W10 by 33. So click apply. So I have now all the sections, C1, C2, G1, G2, G3, and brace. If I'm going to close this, if you want, you could change or you could modify the section that you've already used. Check lang natin, W18 by 76. Modify, W is 18 by 71. W12 by 50. W12 by 40. W12 by 53, and of course, W10 by 30 and the bracing. W10 by 33. So, once all the sections are already okay, close na natin to. Then now, what we can do is to define our frame, no? Magde-define na tayo ng frame. So, after defining our frame, para po mag-define ng frame, punta tayo dito sa structure, no? So, structure, dito po sa structure, meron tayong easy draw na frame. Basically, automatic magdo-drawing siya ng frame. But pag sinabi nating frame, nakatayo yan. Nakatayo, no? So, if we click frame, magkakaroon siya ng frame wizard. Yung frame wizard na to, we could actually draw. Pwede na natin ditong i-drawing for faster drawing. Pwede na natin ditong i-drawing yung ating floor plan. So let's now draw our floor plan. We have the 4 meters and then 4.5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 4.5. And the last 4 meters, no? So sa X dimension muna ako. For the X dimension, I have here 4 meters for the first one. And then for the next one, nag-add lang ako ng X coordinate. I will now add 4.5. It will repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It will repeat 10 times. So 4.5 ng 10 times. So add X coordinate. That's it, 49 meters, no? 49 meters na siya. And then lastly, I'm going to add 4 meters based on my floor plan, 4 meters 4 meters for the last one. So 4 meters, repeat one time. So it will now be 53 meters, which is correct since this is 53 meters. Now I'm going to define the y-axis. We have here 2.5 meters. So define ako ng 2.5 for the first one, add z coordinate, and then the other one will be 7 meters. So I'm going to define 7 meters and then z coordinate. You could check the nodes below na parang parehas naman nung ating floor plan, no? Basically, that is correct, no? So, this is our floor plan. Take note, that is only the nodes. Ibig sabihin, mga points pa lang po yan. Points pa lang. So, we have to go to edit. We have to generate the frame. Mag-generate tayo ng frame. No? And at the same time, our angles, no? Pwede na po tayo mag-generate ng frame. We could choose the material, which is steel material, and then we could choose what section we want to put in our frame, kung ano section po yung gusto nating ilagay. But basically, if you are going to choose, piliin mo yung pinakamadaming section. So, the common section here is G1. So, kung common yung G1, ibig sabihin, mas okay kapag ang ginawa ko dito, also don't forget to save your project, no? Basically, it will be easier for me if it will be G1, no? Kasi nga po, that's the most common beam size. Yun yung common beam size. And then, if I want to generate frame, magkakaroon na po ako ng frame dito. Ibig sabihin, magkakaroon na ako ng section or magkakaroon na ako ng elements. And then, if I want to insert, take note, if the insertion point will be 0, 0, 0. It means this point will be 0, 0, 0. And take note that what we are drawing is a frame. So, nakatayo po yan, no? So, I think I have it here. So, kapag dinrawing natin yung frame, nakatayo yan, like this. But what we want is we want it to be nakahiga. Kasi nga, floor plan yung dinrawing natin eh. So, that's a floor plan. So, we want to rotate it about the x-axis. Kung magro-rotate tayo about the x-axis, we want to change the alpha to negative 90. If we want to rotate about y-axis, babaguhin natin yung beta. If we want to rotate about z-axis, babaguhin natin yung gamma. No? So, in this case, alpha, beta, gamma, ang gusto ko alpha. Gagawin ko siyang negative 90 para mag-rotate. And then, it will now rotate. Magro-rotate siya. So, click apply. So, that means naka-rotate na po yung, as you can see, nakahiga na siya. So, click top view. Nakahiga na po itong element ko. Nakahiga, no? Nakahiga na yung floor plan natin, which is correct, no? So, basically, all of the element properties are now G1. Lahat ito G1. But, I need to change that. Babaguhin ko po yan kasi only the row A and row B are G1. Etong row C natin, lahat ito G2. And then lahat ng vertical are G3. So, I'm going to change the properties. Baguhin ko yung properties. Para mabago po yung properties, you could go to this toolbar. Ito. Sa toolbar, how do we use this toolbar? Basically, if you want to select single, ito, select single. Ito po yung para kang pwede kang mag-select ng isa lang. Ayan. So, tanggalin ko muna yung 3D view para makikita nyo. Pag kinlik natin to, Control H, makikita mo, line lang yan. No? Line element. So, if we select this one, select like this. Yan. Take note, pag nag-select po tayo from left point to the right point, papunta dito, kung ano yung nasa loob ng box, yun yung masiselect. On the other hand, pagka nag-select tayo from down point, pataas, pag pataas, lahat ng dinaanan ng box, lahat ng nag-intersect sa box, masiselect. No? Ganun yung difference. Again, kapag from top to bottom, kung ano lang yung nasa loob, yun lang yung masiselect. Pero kapag from bottom to top, pataas, lahat ng tinamaan ng box, masiselect. No? That is using this one, select single. So, let's say we want this, we want to select all of this. Gusto kong iselect to kasi this will be G2. This one, G2 to lahat. So, I just select all of this, pag ganito. So, select all of this and then I will go to the works tree. Ito pong tree menu. It's important that you go to here, works tree. Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. Basically, dito sa works tree, nakalagay lahat ng nagawa mo na. So far, ang nagagawa pa lang natin, maglagay ng elements, which is beam, maglagay ng property, which is material, and maglagay ng section. So, kapag yung section mo naka-blue, ibig sabihin, hindi pa po siya na-apply. Ang na-apply pa lang natin, G1. Yun pa lang yung naka-red, no? So, we want to apply also G2, no? Gusto natin mag-apply ng G2 saka G3. So, once na maselect mo na tong lahat ng nasa ilalim because that is G2, that is for G2, then you just left-click here and then assign. Left-click and then assign. Then, lahat po dito G2 na. And then you do the same for G3. Select natin to lahat. This is G3. Lahat po ito is G3. All of these are G3. So if these are G3 and then just click G3 and then assign. Okay? So na-assign ko na po yung G1, G2, G3. Now, if we are going to look at our section, you could go to view and then click this rectangular box. Sa rectangular box, makikita natin yung rendered view or basically 3D view ng ating section. Pag tiningnan nyo yung 3D view and I zoom in, mapapansin nyo nakahiga yung element, no? Mali yung position ng aking beam kasi yung beam ko nakahiga, naka-minor axis. Nakahiga yung beam ko, no? Nakahiga. So dahil nakahiga yung beam ko, kailangan ko siyang itayo. Kailangan ko i-rotate yung local axis. So how can I rotate the local axis? What I can do is to select all of it. Select ko lang. So naka-select na po yan lahat. Ayan, naka-red na. And then what I can do is to rotate. I will go to properties and then go to I will go to element and then change parameters. If you click change parameters, pupunta po siya dito sa element. And then you click element local axis. Sa element local axis, babaguhin natin yung beta angle. Ibig sabihin, ito yung local axis ng ating element. I want to rotate it at 90 degrees. Babaguhin ko siya, no? Itatayo ko. Gagawin ko siya 90. So, if I click apply, naka-90 pala to kasi rotate nga pala natin kanina. Kailangan gagawin ko ngayon, gagawin ko siyang 0. Naka-90 degrees to kasi rotate natin siya kanina. So gagawin natin, i-0 natin siya. Yung beta angle naka-0. So click apply. Select ko muna lahat na hindi na yata siya naka-select. So select all. For select all, pwede pala na, again, para shortcut, pwedeng gawin nyo, ayan, if you want to select all, pwede pong ito, Control-Shift-A, Control-Shift-A, para ma-select all siya. No? Pagka naman click mo yung escape, hindi na siya ma-select all. So, select all, Control-Shift-A. Select all. And then, we want to change the beta angle into 90 degrees or into 0. So, click apply. You could notice na nakatayo na yung beam natin. Nakatayo na. So, it means tama na po yung orientation ng beam. And then, basically, it's quite confusing kasi lahat sila color red. Lahat sila color red. So, dahil color red lahat, hindi mo alam kung tama ba yung na-apply mo na section, kung iba-iba ba yung section nila. So, what you can do is that you could select all, Control-Shift-A ulit. Tago ko muna, Control-Shift-A. And then, you go to display. Dito sa view, go to display and then display option. Sa display option, you go to draw para po mabago natin kapag nagbabago siya ng gusto natin, iba yung kulay pag iba yung property. So, you click random color and then apply. Na? So, if you click the hidden property, mapapansin nyo, iba na po yung kulay kapag iba yung property. So, para mas madali siyang makita. That means yung color yellow, all of them are the same property. Color orange are the same property, which is correct based on our plan. Color orange is G1. This one is, the last part is G2. Ito, no? So, para mas madaling makita, at least color-coded siya. Color-coded, no? So, now, what we can do is, once we've draw yung mga girders natin, maglalagay naman ako ng column. So, to draw the column, the easiest thing to do is to select, Control-Shift-A ulit. I-select natin lahat ng node. Kasi lahat po ng point na to, basically are location of the column. Lahat naman ng mga point na yan, location ng column. So, what I can do is to extrude. Paano po siya i-extrude? Ang gagawin ko, yung node, yung point na to, gagawin ko siyang column. So, to make it a column, I will go to the node element and then you click extrude. Ang mangyayari, yung node natin magiging siyang column. What will happen will look like this, parang ganito. So basically, kapag ka nag-start siya ng node, hahatakin mo siya pababa para maging siyang element, para maging siyang column, no? Para maging siyang column. Okay? So, basically, I will click all of this. I-click ko lahat yan, and then I click extrude. Extrude elements from node, gagawin kong line element. As you can see in the tree menu sa left side. Node, gagawin ko siyang line element. And I want it to be reverse. Bakit gusto ko siyang naka-reverse? Kasi gusto ko, I just want na yung starting node nasa baba, yung top node nasa bottom. Kasi if hindi ko siya ni-reverse, basically, ang mangyayari, this is the start node, this is the bottom node. So gusto ko lang nakatayo yung local axis. Para nakatayo yung local axis, para mas madali sa design, dapat nakatayo yung local axis. So, what I'm going to do is i-reverse ko siya. Reverse I and J. So, what I'm going to use is A992 and I'm going to use C1. And then, I'm going to extrude at an equal distance. So, maglalagay ako ng distance at Z. At Z, I will add, it will be negative 3.6. Bakit 3.6 meter? Kasi, basically, maglalagay ako ng negative 3.6 kasi nga po, yun yung height ng ating frame or ng column, 3.6 meter. So 3.6, I click apply. So if I go here, mapapansin nyo, na-extrude na lahat ng column ko, no? Na-extrude na lahat ng column. Okay? But, take note, lahat yan C1, which is quite wrong kasi nga, ang gusto natin, etong nasa bottom, sa bottom part, etong part na to, lahat to C2. So if I want to click only this one, etong row A, gusto ko lang makuha tong row A, pwede ko naman, what I can do is to select only this, select ko lang muna to, yung row na yan, and then I could click to here, activate, no? So if I click F2, pag kinlik ko yung F2 or activate, ang matitira lang po yung sinelect ko. And that selection will be the first row. Sila lang, no? Kasi it will be much easier for me to just uh, select all of this column. Select ko lahat ng column na yan and then apply C2, assign. Napalitan ko na lahat ng C2. And then, if I click right here, Control A, if I click Control A or this one, this button right here, dito sa top, Control A, babalik na lahat ng column natin or yung previous view natin. So, basically, na-define ko na lahat ng column. At the same time, na-define ko na rin yung lahat ng section. No? Na-define ko na lahat ng section. So, the next thing to do is that I have here, meron ako ditong sa floor plan, I have here B1. Meron ako ditong B1, no? Meron akong B1. So what I can do is that, ang gagawin ko dito, hatiin ko muna yung B1. So yung B1 natin located at 3.4 meters. So what I can do is to select this. Select ko yan. As well as this one kasi magkabilaan sila. And then I will have to divide the elements. I-divide ko elements. So click again to the elements dito, node and element, and then divide the elements. If you want to divide the elements at an equal distance, so an equal distance, i-divide natin sila by, anong distance yan? 3.4 meters. Click apply, an equal distance frame. So click apply. So ayan, na-divide na. Nagkaroon na ako ng node dito. And then I can now draw. Pwede na ako mag-draw ng aking element. I'll just go to create elements and then draw. Yung element natin will be B1, A992. And then I have to just click this. Click ko lang yung node 1 and then node 2. Ayan, para mag-apply po yung B1, no? For the other one, ganun din. Click this one, node 1 and then node 2. Okay? So that's it, B1 and B2. And then click escape para, ayan. So na-drawing ko na yung B1. Then I'll have to draw B2. So yung etong B1 natin ulit at located at 2.4 meter. So located at 2.4. So what I can do is to divide this element. I-divide ko to. I-divide ko ng 2.4. So again, go to divide. Divide elements and then an equal distance that is 2.4 meters. 2.4, click apply. And then this is ito na po yung ating 2.4 meters. The other one, ito naman, pwede ko rin i-divide na to para mas hindi na ako babalik. So select all of this and then divide by, instead na 2.4, i-divide ko siya by 1.6. So that is 1.6. Click apply. Ayun, nagkaroon na ako ng node, no? So if I already have a node, I can now create the beam. So create the beam, create elements, and then B1. That is correct. B1 naman, B1, and then just create the element going upward. This one, yeah, 3.4. Also this one, you have 3.4. Okay, so okay na po. Kompleto na yung elements natin. So basically, if I already have all the elements, I just want to change the color of these elements. Again, punta tayo sa view. Tapos display option, go to draw, and then random color, apply. Para po magbago yung color no B1. Para alam ko na tama yung application niya na. So basically, I already have B1. Ito na yung B1 ko. So, and then, based on my design, dun sa design ko, mag-a-apply ako ng brace. Mag-a-apply ako ng bracing, no? Mag-a-apply ako ng bracing. So, for me to apply the bracing, siguro later ko na-apply, no? Pwede rin naman yun. Kasi nakatayo siya dito. So, anyway, later ko na-apply yung bracing. So, mamaya ko na-apply yung bracing, no? So, what I can do is, uh, I could copy. Pwede ko na pong i-copy ito. Pwede ko nang i-copy to kasi kompleto na po yan for one floor. I'll copy it for up to until roof deck kasi pare-parehas lang naman yun. Kakopy ko siya up to until roof deck. So to copy up to until roof deck, basically click top and then select natin lahat ito. And then now I'm going to generate, magka-copy ako, no? So pwede po tayo dito sa node and element and then just click or pwede rin po sa structure, pwede ka rin mag-create ng building generation. Pwede ka mag-building generation. Sa building generation, pwede ka mag-create ng copy. So create a copy. How many copies? That will be 1, 2. So ilang kopya yon? That is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 copies. Na magkikreate tayo ng 4 copies. Hindi kasama yung original So this first, second, third, fourth. 4 copies. Create tayo ng 4 copies at a distance of 3.6 meter. 3.6 global C. And then you just click add. I-click lang tayo ng add. And then apply. Yan. Basically, this is now our building. Nakopy na natin siya pataas. Now, if you want to create the story data, but before I create the story data, i-apply ko muna yung bracing ko, no? Kasi still tayo, basically, using a special moment resisting frame, using only beam and column, it will be difficult to design. Mahirapan tayong i-design, especially dun sa size ng building. Kaya, for this to be designed, maglalagay ako ng bracing. Lalagay ako ng bracing. Saan ako maglalagay ng bracing? So, I'm going to input a brace here. Lagay ako ng brace dito. Kasi medyo mahaba po yung building natin, and if I'm going to use special moment resisting frame only, hindi siya kaya. Hindi kakayanin, no? That is why, eto pong mga frame na to, basically, this one, eto mga frame na yan, lalagyan ko ng bracing. Ay, hindi ko pala sige. Select all muna natin. So, top view, lahat itong mga frame dito, sa first row, second floor, ito po, lalagyan ko siya ng bracing. So, click activate. Yan, itong mga, lalagyan ko ng bracing yung mga yan. So, for me to add bracing, basically, mag-add ako ng bracing at the kalahati. So, kung 7 meter to, so that's 3.5. 3.5, no? So, kung 3.5, basically 0.1 meter from this beam. 0.1 lang. So, maglalagay ako ng 0.1 na node. So, plan. Hatiin ko po ito sa, hatiin ko to sa 0.1. Ito. 0.1. Ito rin 0.1. Kasi maglalagay ako ng bracing. So, again, to add the bracing, properties, ganun ulit, you divide the element, divide, you go to divide, and then an equal distance, 0.1. 0.1, apply. So, ayan, nalagay na yung node ko. Dito sa node na yan, dyan ako maglalagay ng bracing. So, basically, if I go to the left view, dito po ako mag-a-apply ng bracing, no? So, uh, I'm just going to hide all the others. So, ang gagawin ko, select ko lang muna ito. I'm just going to select one frame. Dito lang po muna ako maglalagay ng bracing. And then, ikakopy ko na lang siya papunta dito sa left, papunta sa right, no? So, basically, F2, para yun lang yung makita natin. Click F2. So, ito na lang yung nakikita ko, no? So, I'm going to apply a brace. So, create elements, and then ang bracing natin will be brace, and then create the nodes. Nodes ko will be this one coming from the bottom, papunta siya dito. This one. Yan, dito sa first node. Kasi yun po ito yung 3.5 meter, this one. Okay? And then, apply din ako ng brace coming from here, going to here. Ayan. Ito na po yung bracing natin. Ha? Sa brace sa baba, usually ganyan po yung itsura niyan. But for the second floor, you're going to connect the brace. Iko-connect natin yung brace for the second floor. So, for the second floor, it will look like this. So, tanggalin ko muna yung view para hindi tayo malito, no? So, para ganito siya. Ko-connect ko siya dito. Yan. And then, ganun din po dito. Create tayo ng brace. Or, kung gusto nating pataas para consistent tayo sa direction ng load, pataas yung pag-assign natin. So, we start here, and then, end there. Ayan. We start here, and then, end po dito. Yan. Ganito yung brace natin for the second floor. For the second floor, up to the third, fourth, and fifth, ganito na po dapat yung itsura ng brace. So, nag-iba lang siya dito sa last floor. Na? So, what I can do is I will copy. Ika-copy ko na lang siya. Ika-copy ko na lang siya, yung brace natin. Ika-copy ko. So, how do I copy? I'm going to select. Select ko to. Select to. And then, element, translate elements. Pag nag-translate elements tayo, I'm just going to copy it at 3.6. So, copy, translate, copy, and then at an equal distance along Z. Along Z. That is actually 3. 3 at 3.6. Tatlong beses at 3.6 meters, no? 3.6 meters. If I click apply, ayan. So, meron na akong brace. Ito po yung itsura ng brace natin. Okay? So, If this is my bracing now, what I could do is I'm going to select all of this. Sa-select ko tong lahat na to. Lahat ng brace, select natin yan. This is now my brace. So, yung brace natin, ikakopy ko dun sa second, uh, dun sa susunod na frame, no? So, activate all muna natin. Ikakopy ko siya dito sa second frame at a distance of, anong distance nun? At a distance of 4 meters. Ikakopy ko siya at a distance of 4 meters. So, copy an equal distance at distance along x. Along x naman, ikakopy ko siya at 4 meters. So, 4 meters, click apply. Ayan. So, basically, nakopy na siya dun sa susunod na frame. Na? And then, I'm going to select again. Select ko lang muna tong frame, the first frame, this one. And then, F2. I'm going to select my brace. Yung brace lang po yung isa-select ko. Select lang muna natin yung bracing. And then, ikakopy ko siya ulit. Ikakopy ko siya ulit at a distance of, anong distance? 4 meters up to here. I think that's 49, no? 49 meters yan. 49 plus 4, 53. So, 49 meters. So, ikakopy ko siya at a distance of 49 meters. 49 meters and then copy, apply. So, nalagay na po siya doon sa kabila. Tapos, I'm also going to add the brace. Add din ako ng brace doon sa 53 meters sa dulo. So, I'm going to add the brace at a 53 meter distance. So, 53 and then click apply. So, ayan, meron na akong brace doon sa dulo. So, basically, yeah, if I activate all, meron na akong bracing doon sa dulo. Ayan, meron na akong bracing doon, no? So, ito pong navigate para po mas madaling mag-rotate. Ayan. So, nakikita nyo may bracing na ako. Ito yung itsura ng bracing natin along Y. Important yung bracing especially when it comes to steel kasi hindi kaya nung frame element to resist along the Y direction. Dito sa X direction, dahil marami akong frame element dyan, okay lang. Okay lang na walang bracing. Pero dito sa Y, dahil wala akong halos na framing, kailangan ko ng bracing para po makapag-resist, para tumayo yung structure ko. Okay? So, meron na akong complete structure. I now have the complete structure. Now, maglalagay ako ng story. Ano? Bitawan ko na to. So, I'm going to add the story. Go to structure, control data, mag-add ako ng story data. For the story data, if I'm going to auto-generate this one, auto-generate data, you could notice that the first floor is actually at negative 3.6. If you don't want that, for example, gusto mo siya na nasa 0, pwede mo naman i-move lahat ng element. You could move all the elements. No? So, for me, gusto ko nasa 0 siya. So, i-move ko lahat ng elements. So, select all. Again, select all ko muna lahat. Control-Shift-A. And then, i-move ko siya pataas. How can I move that upward? Go to node element and then translate. If you click translate elements, move. Huwag mo i-copy, i-move mo siya pataas along z-axis, along z at a distance of 3.6. At a distance of 3.6, you click apply. Ayan. Ay, may naiwan. Naiwan yung node. So, i-copy ko lahat para sumama lahat ng node. Again, pag nagkamali kayo, meron namang Control Z. Pwede pong bumalik, no? So, I'm going to select all, including yung node, and then move 3.6, click apply. What happened? Ah, let's delete free nodes. I-delete natin yung free nodes, no? Para mawala lahat ng mga free nodes. So again, Control A, or basically Control Shift A, Control Shift A. So if you want, you could delete free nodes para ma-delete yung mga nodes na walang kinakapitan or walang element. You click apply. So that's it. Na-move na siya pataas. So wala nang free nodes, no? Then close. Basically, this is now my structure. Ito na yung structure ko. Again, if I click view, ito na yung structure natin. And then, again, go to structure, go to control data. Magge-generate ako ng story. Important para later on, mamaya, if I want to only see kung gusto ko lang makita story 1, pwede akong mag-isolate ng story 1 only. No? Gusto ko mag-story 1 lang or story 2. Okay? And so on and so forth. Okay? So in that case, what I'm going to do is regenerate a story. Mag-generate lang ako ng story. And then, generate ako ng story. So, auto-generate story data. So, you could notice that the first floor is now at height of 3.6, level 0. So, click OK. Yan, meron na tayong take note na dapat po nakukonsider yung floor diaphragm, no? Ano ibig sabihin ng floor diaphragm? Ibig sabihin, dapat the building considers that each floor will move ng sabay-sabay kasi may slab because of the slab, no? So, okay na yan. Click close. So, if nakapag-generate na tayo ng story data, now what we could do is we apply pwede na tayo mag-apply ng loads. Pwede na tayo mag-apply ng loads, no? Uh, So, before pala tayo mag-apply ng loads, maglagay tayo ng boundary condition. Lagay tayo ng boundary. Dito, maglalagay ako ng support. So, I'm going to click all of these nodes. Yan, yung mga nodes na yan. So, again, paano kung ginawa ko? I'm just going to select all of these nodes. Yan. And then go to boundary. Add ako ng support. Define support. I want my column to be fixed. If i-fix ko sila, so I'm going to click all the rotation to be fixed as well as translation. Click apply and then that's it. Naka-fix na po yan. Naka-fix na yan. Na? So if naka-fix na po lahat yan, then what I'm going to do is create na tayo ng loads. Na? So you go to load tab, plan, ayan, load tab. We create the static load case. For the static load case, ilalagay lang po natin yung mga common loads natin. So the common loads will be the dead load. Dead load, that is, click here, dead load, add dead load. You also have the live load, LL, click the live load, add. You also have the wind load on the structure. So that is WX plus. So, or W plus X. Take note that when you are designing, kapag nag-apply po tayo ng wind load, you have to consider na na-apply mo yung load, yung wind along X, along negative X, along positive Y, along negative Y. Sometimes, hindi na nako-consider yung positive X saka negative X kasi regular naman. Pero just to be safe, consider na natin, no? Plus X, plus X, negative X. So, consider ko plus X. I will also have negative X, I will also have plus Y, and then negative Y. So, kumpleto po yan. Plus X minus X plus Y, negative Y. And then, I will also add earthquake load, seismic load. So, earthquake. I'm just going to click earthquake here, and then EQX, add. Along X naman yan, then EQY, along Y, add. So, that's it. That's all our loads, no? Dead load, live load, wind load, and then we have the earthquake load. and then click close. And then after that, I'm going to apply the self-weight. Dun sa load, click ko dito self-weight. I'm going to apply the self-weight at z-axis, -1. -1. So, -1, I click add. So, para ma-apply po yung dead load ko. You could notice dito sa works tree, andito na rin yung self-weight. Nakalagay na yung self-weight dito. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, na-apply natin yung self-weight. The next thing, we go to the structure tab. You go to the structure and we are going to convert yung ating dead load dito sa structure type. Iko-convert natin yung dead load into masses. Gagawin natin siyang self-mass. Oh, click structure type, convert self-weight into masses, convert to X and Y. Gagawin natin siyang, i-convert natin to X and Y. And then click OK. Click OK. And then, check natin. Meron yata akong, then to check the message window, ito po, message window, no? So, message window. So, basically, ayan, Control-Shift-A, check ko lang. Okay na pala, na-convert na. Okay. So, na-convert na into masses, no? Na-convert na into masses. So, also, you have to check na, Control-A ulit tayo, no? Control-A, Control-Shift-A, structure tape. You have to make sure na naka-off po itong consider off-diagonal masses. Hindi natin kino-consider yung off-diagonal mass. So, click OK. Okay? Tatanggalin mo yung off-diagonal masses. So, consider off-diagonal masses and then click OK. Okay. So, wala dapat off-diagonal masses. Kasi hindi tayo makakapag-modal analysis mamaya. So, next, we go now to, magde-define na tayo ng dead load. We go to, again, to loads. And then, magde-define tayo ng floor loads. Define floor loads. So, for the floor loads, the first one, I'm going to define the classroom load. Classroom muna ako. Classroom. For the classroom load, it is composed of, balik tayo dito. The classroom load is composed of the slab, the topping, the ceiling, and the partition, no? So, let's use a calculator. So, for the total load, that will be equal to 3 plus 1.2 plus 0.24 plus 1.2. Yeah, this one equals 5.64 kilopascal. So, that is for the classroom. So that means ang dead load natin sa classroom, dead load will be negative 5.64. I'm also going to apply the live load. Yung live load naman natin sa classroom, that is equal to, the live load in the classroom is 1.9 kilopascal. So, negative 1.9. Basically, gumagawa po tayo dito ng load group. Load group, no? Gumagawa tayo ng load group. For the classroom, dead load niya, negative 5.64. Live load is negative 1.9. And then, you just click add. So, meron na tayong classroom. And then, add ko rin, meron tayong corridor. Maglagay naman ako sa corridor. For the corridor, it's actually the same load that is equal to negative 5.64. That is corridor. Pero, ang live load niya, iba na. The live load is actually 3.8 kilopascal. So, the live load for the corridor is 3.8 kilopascal. 3.8. So, click add. And then, I'm going to define the roof deck. For the roof deck, add natin ito. Kasyo. Roof deck natin is equal to 3 plus 1.2 plus 0.24. So, the dead load is only 4.44. So, dead load of 4.44 for the For the roof deck, dead load of negative 4.44. And then the live load for the roof deck is 1.9. That is negative 1.9. Click add. Ayan, meron na akong classroom, corridor, sa roof deck. So, I think that's it, no? So, click close. Yan na po yung mga type ng load ko. And then, if I want to apply the load, gusto ko lang siyang i-apply dito muna sa second floor. So, if I want to choose second floor, pwede po akong i-click dito, activate by identifying, o that will be Control D. Control D, Control D, activate by identifying, or this one, activate by identifying. And then, I want to select a story. Punta ka dito, story. And then, click mo lang second floor. If you click the second floor, ang matitira po, second floor. Kapag tinira mo yung boat, kapag tinira mo above, kunwari above, lalabas lang po yung nasa taas. Basically, the floor of the second floor, including yung column sa taas. Pag kinlik mo naman plus below, pati yung nasa ilalim. Pag kinlik mo both, taas at baba. Pag kinlik mo floor lang, gusto mo floor lang, active lang yung floor lang, no? Gusto natin floor lang, nasa floor lang muna tayo. So, click OK. And then for this one, I want to add, gusto ko na ditong i-add yung i-add ko na po yung classroom. So, for this one, this is the boundary of the classroom. So, to add the boundary of the classroom, what we can do is go to load tab. Again, load tab, assign floor loads. This time, assign floor loads tayo. Again, assign floor loads, click assign. And then unahin natin yung classroom. For this one, we know that yung classroom is two-way. So, familiar naman kayo kung two-way or one-way, no? So, basically, kapag for it to be two-way, ito na lang yung gagamitin ko. Para po maging one-way, yung S over L should be less than 0.5 para one-way. One-way. Kapag yung short span over the long span is greater than or equal to 0.5, then that is two-way. Two-way naman, no? Basically, for this one, since lahat po sila, etong lahat na to is greater than 0.5, two-way po yung distribution. So, it will be two-way distribution. That means I'm going to choose two-way and then classroom. And then, a global Z projection, yes. Global Z. And then, I'm going to copy the floor load. Ika-copy ko yung floor load kasi basically, kung ano man yung load natin sa second floor, kung ano man yung load sa second floor, parehas lang yan sa third, fourth, saka fifth. I'm going to copy 3 times. Ika-copy ko siya ng 3 beses. So, para mas mabilis, kung gusto nyo po na, kung pare-parehas naman yung load sa bawat floor, I will just copy the floor load, 3 at 3.6. 3 at 3.6 along Z-axis. So, sorry. Dito pala. Dito dapat yung distance. 3 at 3.6 along Z-axis. And then, I have to define the loads. Magde-define na ako ng loads. So, that is, kiklik ko lang yung nodes na naka-boundary dun sa area. So, boundary the area, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then this, this one, and this one. Yeah, that's it. Na-apply ko na yung two-way load. Na? Kinlik ko lang yung boundary. So, I'm also going to click the boundary of this one. Ito naman. This is corridor. Corridor po ito. So, corridor, palitan ko yung classroom, gawin kong corridor. Nakakopy pa rin siya. Nakakopy pa rin at 3.6. So, this is one way. Ito po one way ito. Pero ito two way. So, I'm going to start here. Here. This one. Tapos, punta ako dito. this one, this, and then this, and this. Ayan, two-way na po ito. This is two-way. Okay? And then, this small here, actually, stairs lang yan. Stairs, one-way yan. So, yung one-way, click ko lang one-way. I'm also going to apply the corridor load. So, one-way, click, 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 boundary of the one-way, that's it. No? Then, dun sa kabila naman, one-way din. One-way, one-way, one-way. Yeah. So, you could notice na na-apply na po yung one-way dito. Dito rin. No? So, apply, close. If you want to check kung na-apply na po yung load natin, so top view tayo. Tapos click mo yung floor loads, tapos display. So mapapansin mo na-apply na po yung negative 6.8, 12.7, negative 12.7, negative 12.7, tapos meron tayong negative 6.8. Yeah, I think na-apply na, no? Na-apply na natin yung mga loads. So display natin for the static load case. Just to check. Chine-check ko lang kung na-apply po yung mga loads natin. Okay, may na-apply dito na one way. Dito rin. Yeah, may naka-apply na one way. So, okay. So, na-apply na po natin lahat ng loads. Once we apply all the loads, check muna natin kung na-copy ba lahat ng loads dun sa bawat floor. No? So, activate all floors o Control A. As you can see, na-apply din po siya na-apply din siya sa hanggang 5th floor. Wala lang yung top, wala lang yung roof deck. So, ngayon, i-click na natin yung roof deck lang. So, choosing only the roof deck, activate by identifying that is the roof deck, which is story, roof, floor, active. So, roof deck na lang po ito. This is now the roof deck. Now, pipiliin ko po, basically, ilalagay ko yung roof. Ga-assign tayo ng roof deck. And then, hindi ko na kailangan mag-copy. I'm just going to define the loading area. So, define the loading area, this one. Again, these are two-way. So, two-way po ito. This one. This. Ulitin ko. Select all the floors for two-way. Dahil equal naman po yung loadings natin dito sa roof. Ito na lang yung pinipili ko, no? Iniwasan ko yung one-way kasi para tama. So, and then I'm just going to apply the two-way here. Two-way dito. Saka, two-way pa rin ito. So, two-way. Yeah, two-way. And then, dun din po sa kabila, two-way. And then, also one-way para sa dito. So, one-way. Then, dun sa kabila, one-way din. Yeah, that's it. So, na-apply na po natin yung loads natin. So, you click close and then activate all. So, basically, yan, naka-apply na po lahat ng loads. No? Naka-apply na lahat ng gravity loads. So, after applying for the gravity loads, we can now create the load to masses. So, dahil na-apply ko na lahat ng gravity load, gagawin ko po siyang mass load. Ano yung mass load? Ito po yung gagamitin natin sa earthquake. Basically, if you remember yung earthquake, meron tayong tinatawag na seismic dead load. Sa seismic dead load, ang ginagamit lang po doon, dead load plus 25% of the live load. Yung live load na yon para sa storage area. Kapag ka meron kang mga elevator, kapag may storage, so you add 25% of the live load. Pero this time, you click load to masses. Kapag wala ka namang storage area, then dead load lang. Load to masses, ang gagawin po natin, piliin natin XY, and then nodal load, beam load, floor load, pressure. Before ko pala gawin to, may nakalimutan yata akong loadings. Before kong gawin yan, I think meron pa pala akong meron pa akong wall load. Hindi ko pa pala nalalagay yung wall load. So maglalagay pa ako ng wall load, click to top view. So to add the wall load, basically ilalagay ko siya dito sa para maglalagay lang po ako sa second floor, third floor, fourth floor, saka fifth floor. Wala na sa roof deck. Hanggang fourth floor lang. So I'm going to select ko lang, activate. Ito, activate by identifying story. Second floor, third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor, walang roof deck. So floor lang. So this one. And then I'm going to apply the wall load. Yung wall load ko, i-apply ko lang dito sa beam. Tanggalin ko muna 'to, ano. So, display. So, dito ko lang siya i-apply dito sa sa boundary, sa perimeter beams. Sa perimeter beam ko lang siya i-apply. Select ko na yung perimeter beams. So, I'm going to select this as well as this. Ito din. And then ito. So, kung titingnan ko, na-select ko na lahat ng nasa baba, no? That is my perimeter beam. So, mag-apply ako ng wall load. Ang wall load natin is 10.87 kilonewton meter. So, click load, and then you go here, element load. For the element load, uniform load po ito, uniform load. Isasama ko siya sa dead load, and then global Z. Tama naman po yan. And then the uniform load will be negative 10.87. Negative 10.87 based on the calculated wall load. 10.87. And then based on the apply, ito po, na-click na natin lahat. Click apply. Ayan. So, na-apply na lahat ng wall load. Uniform load po yan. And then, yeah. So, Control A na tayo. Control A. So, this is now all the wall loads. So, punta ako sa view. Kung gusto nyong makita yung rendered view. So, now, kanina andun tayo sa load. I'm going to convert now my loads to masses. Gagawin ko loads to masses. So, sa loads to masses, uh, you click XY. Dapat po mass direction is XY. And then, the dead load, maglalagay lang tayo dead load. Again, kung tall building yung dinedesign mo, medyo mataas, maglalagay ka ng 25% live load kapag may mga storage area. But since wala naman tayong storage area, this is just a classroom, dead load lang po i-consider ko. So mag-add ako ng dead load, add, and then click OK. Click OK. Na? So yeah, meron na tayong masses. That is now my masses. So kung meron na po akong masses, what I can do, mag-apply na po ako ng wind loads. So load, go to wind load, apply tayo ng wind load, add the wind load. So sa wind load natin, meron tayong apat, no? Plus x, minus x, plus y, saka minus y. Ibig sabihin lang po ng plus x, going along x, going negative x, going plus y, positive y, going negative y. So plus x muna. So going plus x, ang gagamitin nating code ASE 7-10. And then, ang gagamitin po usually na ginagamit sa wind load, directional procedure. So sa directional procedure, meron tayong wind speed based on NECP. So in this case, na-calculate ko na po yan, or meron na tayong define, 187.5. So that is 187.5 miles. Exposure category is B, exposure category B. And then, mean roof height, that is 18. Topographic effects, that will be 0.85. Rigid structure. And then GY is also 0.85. And then you add, ilalagay po natin siya kasi plus x. In the direction of the load, wala po tayong eccentricity. The direction of the load will be plus 1. Ang y direction natin dapat 0. Kasi what we are considering for the wind load here, it's only applied on the x direction. So nasa x direction lang siya. So wind load 1, y direction 0. So wind load profile, if I click the wind load profile, ito na po yung wind load natin. So if I click the y direction, dapat wala siyang load kasi x direction lang tayo naka-apply, no? And then, if you want to check the calculation sheet, click mo lang ito. Ito po yung calculation sheet. Yung mga nilalagay natin sa report, no? Calculation sheet. And then click close. Kung okay na po yan, click apply. Click apply. Ayun, wind load x. We could also define wind load minus x naman. So load case minus x. Pero this time, yung direction, gagawin kong -1. You put -1, click apply. And then for plus y naman, plus y, ang gagawin ko, 0 yung x direction, plus 1 si y direction. And then click apply. For -y, it will be -1 naman si y direction. Click apply. So ayan, meron na tayong 4 na wind load. And then close na natin to, and then close. If you want to modify, kung gusto mo i-check, modify ka lang po. Ayan, -1, tama naman. Plus y, that is plus 1, and then -1. Okay? And then click close. And then, next thing to do, pwede na po tayong maglagay ng seismic load. For the seismic load, you go to seismic loads. Seismic loads, mag-add tayo ng load case, add load case. For the load case, it will be EQX. Mag-apply tayo ng earthquake load along X. Ang gagamitin nating seismic load code, UBC 1997. UBC 1997, ito po yung basically yung natutunan nyo sa earthquake. No? So, soil profile type, SC. Gagamitin ko soil profile is SC. Tapos yung zone factor, 0.4. Seismic source distance will be type A. Usually kapag dito sa Manila or malapit sa Pasig City, nasa Quezon City, seismic source type A yan kasi malapit sa West Valley Fault. Distance is 10 kilometer. You could determine the distance using hazard hunter, no? Importance factor is 1. And then, yeah, 10. So ngayon, I could now calculate the period. So for the period calculator, take note, meron tayong titong 3. 1, 2, and 3. So paano malalaman kung ano dyan? O balikan natin yung code. Basically sa code, kapag sa period, the first one is still moment resisting frame. Yan yung number 1. Yung number 2, it will be reinforced concrete and eccentrically braced frame. For number 3, it's all other buildings. So, in my case, yung aking x direction, the x direction is actually still moment resisting frame. So, kung still moment resisting frame ako sa x direction, kasi po yung bracing ko, take note, yung bracing ko naka-apply lang sa y direction. So, yung bracing natin, y lang. Yung x natin, special moment resisting frame. So, sa x direction, special moment resisting frame siya. Pero sa y direction, bracing. So, number 3. So, pwedeng magkaiba po yan. Pwede magkaiba. So, click OK. 0.74 saka 0.426. And then, the ductility coefficient R. Take note, for the x direction, it's actually special moment resisting frame. Kasi yung bracing ko, nilagay ko lang sa y. Again, yung bracing nasa y lang. So, yung R ko, it will be 8.0 for x kasi special moment resisting frame yon. Yung sa y, sa y ko naman, it will be 6. Bakit 6? O, balikan natin to. Kapag kapag special moment resisting frame, yung R natin 8. Ito 8. Pero kapag building frame system, special concentrically braced frame, ito po yung ginawa ko, 6.0. So yung R natin 6. So R ko 6 for Y. X ko is 8. Tapos factor will be the seismic factor will be if this is EQX, so yung X direction ko is 1, ang Y direction ko 0. Wala akong eccentricity. And then I'm just going to click apply. So tama na to lahat, click apply. Or if you want to check seismic load profile pala, ito po yung earthquake natin. Sa Y direction, walang load, sa X lang meron. So click apply, so meron na akong EQX. And then click EQY. Ngayon, tanggalin ko yung X direction, lagay ko naman yung Y direction which is 1. So click apply. So meron na akong EQX saka EQY. Close. Meron na akong earthquake load. Close. Ngayon, mag-apply na tayo ng dynamic load. Mag-apply na tayo ng dynamic load, no? Okay. So Okay, so we apply the dynamic loading. So for the dynamic loading, instead na static load tayo, mag-apply tayo ng response spectrum. Response spectrum is basically the earthquake load in the dynamic effect. Nakukonsider natin yung vibration kapag sa dynamic loads, no? So we click dynamic, mag-apply tayo ng response spectrum function, RS function. For the RS function, mag-add tayo ng function, add function. Yung function natin nakadepende sa design spectrum, which is UBC 1997. And then we just apply all the properties here. The soil profile is SC based on our criteria. SC, zone is 0.4. We have 0.4. Zone 4, seismic source A, distance is A. Distance to seismic source is 10. So okay na to. Click OK. This is our design spectrum, UBC 1997. And then we click apply and then close na natin. So we have now the UBC 1997 spectrum. And then we click close. Close na natin yan. Maggagawa naman tayo ng load cases, RS load cases. For the RS load cases, gagawa ako ng RS major, which is the direction is X and Y. I will click auto search angle and then it's on the major axis. Apply siya sa along X. Ang scale factor natin will be 1/R. Dahil yung major axis natin is ang R ko dito 8.0, ang lalagay ko dito 1/8. Bakit siya 8.0? Kasi special moment resisting frame. So, and then ang function na gagamitan UBC 1997. And then we just scroll down and then i-add na natin to, add. Again, 8 po ito, no? 1/8. Add. Ito na. That is our RS major. And then, baguhin natin to, gawin natin RSY, RS ortho. But this time, yung scale factor natin, 1/6. Kasi 6 lang po yung sa Y, no? 1/6. So, wala nang babaguhin, add. Hindi siya na-add. So, UBC 1997, 1/6. That is ortho. Palitan ko pala yung pangalan. Hindi pala nabago yung pangalan. Kaya ayaw. RS ortho. Ibig sabihin, 90 degrees. No? Click apply. Add. Yan. So, iba po yung scale factor ng X sa Y because magkaiba ng resisting ng structural system. Magkaiba ng structural system. So, given na okay na yung response spectrum natin, Ngayon, i-close ko na to. I'm going to create uh, magkikreate na po ako ng eigenvalue analysis. I go to eigenvalue. Again, nasa load tayo kanina. Punta ka sa analysis, tapos eigenvalue. Yung eigenvalue, para po yan sa mode shape. Yung mode shape natin. So, pwedeng subspace iteration, pwede rin pong Ritz. Pero dapat increase mo yung number of frequency, it should be 10. Increase to a number of 10. Subspace iteration, click OK. Na? So, again, ulitin natin. Eigenvalue subspace iteration, sabat po at least 10 yan. Click OK. And then, after that, pwede na tayo mag-perform analysis. Click perform analysis, magra-run na po yung model. So, now the finite element analysis solver is solving the equation. So, once it stopped, okay na. So, check natin yung command window, yung message window. Again, pag nawawala po yung mga 3 menu, you could actually click here, left click, click mo lang message window. So, okay na, wala namang error. So, kung walang error, basically, pwede ko nang ma-check yung result. Pwede na ako mag-result ng mode shape. So, kung i-check ko yung vibration mode shape, sa result, mode shape, vibration mode shape, ito na po yung mode 1. If I apply, ang vibration niya for mode 1 is along X. Ito. Nag-vibrate siya along X. Kung titingnan ko yung, titingin ako sa front view, nagba-vibrate siya along X. That is the first mode, which is okay. Paano ko po nalaman na okay? Kasi kapag ang nangyari, yung unang vibration mo bigla yang umikot or nag-rotate, hindi maganda yung pagkaka-design or hindi maganda yung pagkaka-place ng elements. So ngayon, yung mode 2, dapat ganun din. Mode 2 natin, along Y naman. Along Y. So, I think that's okay. Okay din yung mode 2 natin. Yung mode 3, ito yung nag-rotate. So, apply. Ayun, nag-rotate siya sa mode 3. No? Nag-rotate siya sa mode 3. So, ibig sabihin, mode 3 pa lang siya magro-rotate, which is a good design. Ibig sabihin, maganda yung pagkakaayos ng elements. Maganda yung pagkakaayos ng elements, no? So, kung okay na po yung mode shapes ko, kung okay na yung vibration mode shape natin, i-check naman natin yung drift. I-check natin yung drift. So, usually, kapag po meron tayong drift, ayan. So, sa drift, punta tayo sa result, tapos results table, story, click natin yung story drift. I-check natin yung story drift, no? So sa story drift, ang i-check natin, EQX, EQY, RS major, RS ortho. Ito yung mga i-check natin. Yung static sa dynamic. Click OK. Ngayon, ano yung deflection amplification factor? Basically, yung deflection amplification factor, kung pupunta tayo dito, deflection amplification factor will be, ito yung katabi ng R, delta S, ng drift. Ang drift kasi, basically, ito yung pag-sway ng building. So, yung drift niya, the drift is actually zero, ang deflection amplification will be 0.7 times R. So, ibig sabihin, ang gagamitin ko na amplification, yung mas malaki, which is 8, no? 0.7 times 8. Kasi mas malaki yung R na 8 compared sa 6. So, what I'm going to use is 0.7 times 8. And then the importance factor is 1. Allowable drift is 0.02. Kasi if we go back here, kapag daw yung period natin is exceeding 0.7, the calculated story drift shall not exceed 0.02. So, yung drift natin greater than 0.7 yan. So, the allowable drift is 0.02. Click OK. So, mapapansin nyo, lahat po ng ating drift is actually okay. Ibig sabihin, okay po yung design, hindi siya nag-exceed sa allowable drift. Kapag may nag-NG dito, ibig sabihin not good, you have to revise the elements or kailangan mo pang magdagdag ng elements. Kasi ibig sabihin hindi siya okay. No? So, in this case, dahil po okay lahat, ito po yung nilalagay natin sa report. Pwede mo na itong ilagay na ibig sabihin, yung drift mo, okay siya. Okay yung check natin sa drift. Again, yung deflection amplification factor, nakadepende po dito yan, no? So, dito, 0.7 of the R, 0.7 of R. Yung R na ginamit ko is 8 kasi mas malaki po yung 8 compared sa 6 para mas ma-amplify, no? So, ang ginamit ko 8. Pero okay pa rin naman yung okay pa rin yung na-solve ko, no? Okay pa rin yung drift natin. So, i-close ko na to. I'll go back to our model. Now, kung okay na yung drift natin, we could now scale. Gagawa tayo ng load cases. I-scale natin yung response spectrum. Paano mag-scale ng response spectrum? We go to results table. Kukunin ko ngayon yung story shear when it comes to response spectrum analysis. So, kunin ko yung RS major saka RS ortho. So, kung mapapansin nyo, naka-ano po ito, naka-scientific. If gusto natin gawing hindi scientific, you just left click tapos style dialog. Gawin mo lang tong fix, yung X saka Y. Fix mo lang yan. Fix, fix. Click apply. Ayan. Hindi na siya naka-scientific. And then, mag-open ako ng Excel. Ito, may naka-open pala ako ng Excel. So, mag-open ako ng Excel. I-define natin yan. No? So, basically, isusulat ko yan. R factor natin, RSX, response spectrum along X, that is 2116.8191. And then RSY naman along Y, that is 2097.6924. Okay? 2116.819, 2097.692. Ngayon, kukunin ko yung EQX saka EQY. Earthquake X saka Earthquake Y, which is, para makuha ko yung Earthquake X and Earthquake Y, tanggalin ko muna tong story shear, close natin yan. Tapos punta ako sa results table, reaction. Kunin ko yung reaction ko sa EQX saka EQY. EQX, EQY, click OK. Kung isasum ko lahat yung reaction, ito po yun. Ito yung FX. Ang EQX natin is, as you can see here sa baba, that is 2349.383.269. For EQY naman, that 3475.595566. So, ayan. So, ngayon, makukuha ko na yung scale factor. Yung scale factor natin will be equal to, for EQX along X, will be, i-divide lang po natin yung EQX, divide natin yung EQX sa RSX. Divide natin EQX sa RSX. And then, ganun din po yung scale factor sa EQY along Y. That is EQY over RSY. Ayan. So, ito pong mga factor na to, gawin ko na lang 2 decimal format cells. 2 decimal. Yan po yung gagamitin natin sa load combination. Along X, 1.11. Along Y, 1.66. Okay? So, pakitandaan po ito. Saan to gagamitin? Basically, later on, paggagawa na po tayo ng load combination para sa paggagawa na tayo ng load combination uh, para sa para sa response spectrum, no? So ngayon, gagawa na ako ng load combination. I will go to the results and then load combination. Dito ako. Close ko muna to. Load combination, punta ako sa still design kasi still ako. Still design. And then mag-auto-generate ako, auto-generation ng load case, auto-generation. Take note, still tayo, AISC LRFD16. Tapos mag-apply ako ng RS major saka RS ortho. Sa major, yung scale up factor, ito po yung na-calculate natin. Scale up factor natin for RSX is 1.11. That's 1.11 for RS major, add. And then for RS minor or RS ortho, ang nakalculate natin is 1.66. 1.66. So add. And then, after that, so mag-auto-generate na po tayo, no? Auto-generate. Take note na after this, kiklik mo po itong negative sign para lumabas po itong uh, factors, no? Yeah, 1.11 saka 1.66. So, we are going to consider special seismic load. Magko-consider tayo ng special seismic load saka vertical seismic force. Okay? For the vertical seismic force, ang vertical seismic force natin is 0.5 CAID. So, vertical load factor is 0.5 CAI. Uh, yeah, one moment. Okay, so for the generation of the load combination, hindi pa uh, naka-EISC pala ako dito. We should click NSCP 2015. So NSCP 2015 tayo, no? So again, ilagay natin yung RS major sa RS ortho based on the scale factor that we calculated. Ito, yung scale factor natin kanina na na-calculate based on EQX and RSX. And then we consider orthogonal effect. Consider tayo orthogonal effect. And then for orthogonal effect, we consider 130 rule. Ano ibig sabihin po ng 130 rule? Kapag nag-apply tayo ng along X, merong 30% along Y-axis. 130 rule. And then, we check for special seismic load. We are going to consider special seismic load. And then, we are also going to consider live load reduction. Ito, live load reduction. For the factors of the live load reduction, ang ilalagay po natin will be 0.5 for live load, no? So, add natin yan. And then, click OK. 0.5 for live load, OK. Again, live load reduction factor, 0.5, OK. And then, after that, you click OK. Eh, wala daw akong load case. So, one moment. Okay, let's repeat on how to create the load cases. Then tayo sa auto generation. Tapos, again, ang design code pala natin, LRFD kasi wala nga pala hindi niya pala kinoconsider yung NSCP, ano? So, LRFD tayo, LRFD. Again, mag-add tayo ng load cases, RS major. RS major natin is, ano yung RS major natin? That is, scale factor is 1.11. 1.11, then click add. RS ortho is 1.66. Katulad pa rin kanina, add. And then, we are going to consider special seismic load. Ito, special seismic load. LRFD 16. LRFD 16. AISC LRFD 16. So, LRFD po tayo. LRFD. And then, click natin yung vertical special seismic load. And then, click OK. Click OK. Ayan, meron na tayong load combination. This is now our load combination. So, if okay na yung load combination natin, click close. Close na natin yung load combo. And then, For the load combination, we can now go back to the result, no? Pwede na nating makita yung mga dead load, live load moment. Tanggalin ko lang yung deflection, no? Ayan. So if I want to show the forces, let's say beam moment, beam diagram, ito na yun, beam diagram. If I want to show for, let's say, EQX, uh, moment Y, apply. So ito po yung moment natin along Y, which is correct, tama po. Dapat po pag nagde-design kayo, you check for the moment diagram. Dapat tama yung moment diagram, no? That's EQX, ito naman yung EQY, apply, which is again correct kasi non-sway po ito, brace frame. For for live load, on the other hand, apply moment natin like this, which is correct. Again, tama ulit. No? This is the moment diagram. Ito pong mga to, pwede mo na tong ilagay sa report mo. No? So, for your design project. Wind along X, ito na, wind along X. You also have wind along Y. You could explore kung ano yung pwede mo pang ipakita dito. No? I know you would like to explore the software. No? Ayan. So, EQY, EQX, and so on. So after you could get different deformation here na pwede mong ipakita sa report mo. So you could get the deformation shape, EQX. Pwede mong pakita yung RS major. Yeah, RS major. This is RS ortho. No? EQX, EQY. This is EQX. And then EQY. EQX, EQY. And then, if I want to determine yung aking yeah. So, anyway, you could explore kung ano po yung mga diagram na pwede mong ipakita. You could plot the diagram, define the diagram, and so on. No? So, next, I'm going to go to the design process na ako. Punta ako sa design process. So, going to the design process, I'm going to go to design and then still design. Check ko po yung aking design code. The design code is AISC LRFD16. I'm also going to check the beam column deflection. No? Check ko yung beam column deflection and then click OK. And then for the still design, okay na po yung strength reduction factor natin for yielding of gross section 0.9, fracture, compression member, okay naman yan. So for bending coefficient, ito po, you could calculate by program. Kasi yung CB is equal to 1, basically, ano yan, conservative. So, do you remember nung napag-usapan natin yung CB, no? So, pwede naman siya calculate by program, click mo apply. Basically, click all mo na. Click all mo yan. Tapos, or control, pwede naman po, control shift A, and then click apply. No? Basically, si program yung magka-calculate sa'yo ng CB. And then, you could calculate for the seismic load resisting by member. So, for the seismic load resisting by member, ano tayo? Buckling or the special concentrically braced frame, no? So, piliin ko yung mga bracing ko. If I want to check this one, piliin ko yung mga bracing. So, click ko lang tong brace, tapos select. Ayan, na-select ko na yung bracing, then apply. Ayan. So, para po sa bracing yan. And then, I also want to assign yung mga member ko. So, mag-a-assign ako ng mga member ko. I want is to be the same member assignment. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, uh, yung mga member ko na putol-putol, gusto ko isang member sila to be considered. So, Yung mga member na putol-putol, gusto ko it will be one member to be considered. So punta ka dito sa member assignment, and then uh you click automatic, allow single element member, and then all, and then apply. No? So para ma-consider natin yung member. Okay? And then after that, you go now to the design. Punta tayo sa design, perform batch design, and then you go to still code checking. Still code checking dahil still tayo. And then click run. Let's wait for a little while para habang nagra-run po yung code. So, okay natapos na pong i-run yung code. So, once na na-run yung code, as you can see, all of the members actually pass. So, pasado na po ito. No? So, I have here C1, C2, G1, G2, G3, B1 brace. So, yung mga DC ratio nila, ito, for C1, ang DC ratio niya 0.65, for C2, 0.513, for G1, 0.528, for G2, 0.55, for G3, 0.366, B1, 0.37337, brace is 0.976. You could actually think na, sir, masyado namang mataas to or masyadong mababa yung DC ratio, baka uneconomical. But if you check for the graphic, for example, nasa property kasi ako kaya konti lang yung nakikita ko, no? Pero if I go to member, ito lahat ng member na na-design. So sa property, ibig sabihin, nag-group sila by property. So if I go to C1, let's say, click ko yung graphic. So ito po yung design natin, graphic. So you could see na ang nag-govern po dito, although okay po siya, although mababa lang yung strength natin, 0.65, pero yung deflection, doon ako nahirapan sa deflection, no? So yung deflection natin is 0.012, 0.0112. So almost very, very close na. So hindi na rin tayo makakapagbawas pa ng size ng element kasi almost, almost almost nasa boundary na yung deflection. So para pumasa siya, almost nasa boundary na. Ganun din po yung ibang element. Although hindi critical yung strength, pero yung deflection critical, no? Pero sa brace natin, yung brace, I think na-maximize natin yung member. The strength is 0.94. 0.94. Okay? So, ang critical po dito, naging yung deflection, no? So, basically, pasado naman pa lahat ng member. So, the question is, sir, paano kapag hindi pasado? Pwede mo pong baguhin yung section. Pupunta ka dito sa change. Basically, let's say, bumagsak yung C1. Pag bumagsak yung C1, punta ka dito sa change. Tapos, basically, maghahanap ka ng satisfied section. Search satisfied section. Magbibigay siya sa'yo ng iba't ibang section na pasado, like this one, na pwede mong palitan. So, pwede mo daw palitan ng W10 by 68, W14, W21, no? So, basically, ginawa ko na to before I even model this. So, ginawa ko na pinalit-palitan sila. But, basically, ito po yung maximize na or pinakamaliit na section na nakuha ko given para pumasa sila ng deflection, no? Para pasado ng deflection. So, again, click. Kung gusto mong baguhin yung section, click mo yan, tapos change, tapos you search for satisfied section coming from the combined ratio of 0.8 to 1, satisfied section. So, kapag nag-search ka po ng satisfied section, it will give you different load combinations, no? No, yan. If you want to create a detailed calculation, let's say detailed ng C1, click mo detail calculation. Ito po yung detail calculation na pwede mong ilagay sa report. This one. This is now your detailed calculation. Okay? We also have the detailed calculation brace, B1, G1, G3, and so on. So again, that's how you design the steel building. There's still a lot to explore in this software. Marami ka pa pong pwedeng matutunan dyan. I'm just giving you a basically basic basic introduction on how to use the software, pero you could still explore by yourself. What I'm giving is the minimum, no? So you could still explore, pwede mong bagu-baguhin kung paano mo pa mapapaganda yung design. It depends on you. And at the same time, what you are doing is a different project naman. So meron kang ibang building na dine-design, no? So that will be all. So thank you. So anyway, when I was actually checking the model, uh, please check that the deformed shape, dapat kapag ka-chinek mo yung RS ortho, RS major, dapat along X siya, no? Along X. Katulad na to, along X. Tapos yung RS ortho along Y. Para ibig sabihin, tama yung ginawa natin, no? So, dapat yung RS ortho along Y, yung RS major along X. Para po maging ganito yan, ang ginawa ko, dun sa load combination, sa response spectrum load cases, dapat nakaano po to. Sa RS major, dapat 0 yung angle. Sa RS, sa RS ortho naman, dapat 90 yung angle. Okay? So, hinabol ko lang kasi nga baka later on, ang mangyari, yung major nyo nasa y-axis, yung minor nasa x-axis. Pwede kasi siyang magkaiba, no? So, para hindi po kayo malito, gawin nyo na lang excitation angle 0 saka 90. Okay? Sige, yun lang po. So, you could explore different results from here. So, pwede ka pong mag-create ng beam moment diagram na. Yeah. So, this is the beam moment diagram. RS ortho. Yeah. And so on and so forth. No? That's it.